So hello everybody, this is the introductory video of my close combat training video compilation, in which I'm gonna give you the basics before we begin with the actual fighting techniques, the learning and the teaching of all those techniques. Those are gonna help you to fight with someone who's bigger, someone who's tougher, to manipulate them. If they try to bully you, you have a defensive measure against them. So let's just begin with it. So yes, I've named this very set of whole of the defense videos as Prahaar, as I've named them. So this is close combat training, Prahaar, and definitely it's gonna help you to manipulate the people those are tougher, those are bigger, and even those who are more skilled than you, so that you have a better defense skills to take care of yourself. You don't need a hand to help your own self after getting all these things done, after getting all these things learned. So without any further delay, let's just begin with it. So yes, it's gonna definitely help you, which is definitely going to make you more capable to tackle a bully and to fight in a violence if somebody is trying to trouble you. So you have a better option. Okay, so let's just make you a street fighter. Alright, so this is very much important for you to know, because once we are engaged in a fight, once we are engaged in a one-to-one combat fight, the first thing that all of the mechanisms flows through is the thinking mechanism, the search engine, the Google, right, of your whole mechanism is your thinking capacity or thinking capability. So you begin everything with your brain, with thinking, with judging the scenario. And when you make a judgment, you take the action into consideration. And that action in your mind tells your voluntary muscle to take a punch or a kick, right? So these are the three things that actually lead your mechanism whenever you are engaged in a fight. But there is one thing, that typical one thing, that makes an obstacle in your way whenever you are in between the thinking and the action taking scene, right? So this basically is empowered by your fear. What if you're gonna get hurt? What if you are going to get a person right next to you who's more stronger than you, and it's gonna hit you on your perfect face, right? So what happens after that? That fear is induced, right? In between your thinking and action taking scenario, right? So right after that, we all know that we have our brain, which is being divided into two parts, that is your right brain and your left brain, that is your cognitive brain, right? And this helps you to take a judgment whether the things are going to be based on a logical reasoning, right, or is it going to be just your practical test where you are supposed to activate your muscles, right? So this you already knew. Now there is an emotional brain, that perspective as well, in which you either think of a pleasure or the pain that you are going to get suffered from after you take any action. So these are mainly seen, if I have to take an example, maybe if you just throw a stick to your dog, he's gonna just run behind it. He's gonna run. He doesn't just sees what actually is in the environment. What happens if he is supposed to jump off a cliff, right? He does. He will, because pleasure makes him do that, right? He doesn't think about what will be the consequences, unlike what humans might do with their cognitive brain. So that is what you call an emotional brain. Now the third part is your reptilian brain, which enables you to think whether you have to fight this scenario or you're supposed to take a flight. So this is the third category of brain, in which you have two parts, that is fight or flight, right? This has evolved from the you know, the animal kingdom hierarchy, reptiles, right? So from that period of evolution, it has been very certain that for a livelihood you must fight. So that brain helps you to decide whether you have to take a fight or you have to just fly away from that situation. Now, the pro fighters that we mainly see in Olympics, or maybe in the martial artists, those jiu-jitsu players or taekwondo players, those do not think about their cognitive brain. Those do not actually care what is going to happen if they are going to get a punch on their face, because they know they are under surveillance, they are under some kind of set of protocols. So right, so they are not restricted by the consequences of the fight. That's why, in this very perspective, they are trained. They are trained to maintain their bounds, their boundaries, just to their reptilian brain, without considering what happens after the situation gets a conclusion. So this is what we have to think about, right? If right now I'm talking to you, I'm my heart is beating at a rate of 145 bpm. That is a normal heart rate. But whenever you are engaged in a fight, or maybe some people are trying to just abuse your family, or maybe they are trying to steal your wallet or whatever, your heart rate automatically rises up to 175 bpm. That's exactly the phase when you cannot decide what to do, right? Those are the situation reactions that one must be very trained of what to do in such scenarios. So this whole training is going to help you to maintain a BPM from 145 to 155 BPM, so that you don't lose your will to take a quality decision whether to fight or to flight, right? So now, what is the basic difference between the real world and the real world is two types of motors are there. Those are gross motors, which just includes the basics, right? Like shielding your face with your elbow, shielding your face with your forearms, raising your knee, raising your elbows, just making a punch stance so that you can just protect your face if you're going to get a punch on your face, right? So these are the gross motors. Those do not include any kind of special techniques, those jiu-jitsu styles. Those stances are not at all required. This is what is the real world, right? This is what is going to help you in the real-time scenario. So these are the gross motors. Those gonna help you. And whatever we see in the fictions, in the movies, and the games, right? Those fighting skills, those techniques are again well trained by those personals, and even they are hard to do. That's why they are termed as complex motors, right? You cannot do them if you don't train them every day. So what we are going to focus on is our gross motors, because these are just the basics, and with these basics you're going to protect yourself, your family, and the ones you love, right? So this is what you're going to follow, and this for now we're just going to keep aside, right? So if only you're ready, so let's just train, right? So I'm gonna come up with the next videos. Those are going to tell you about the basics and the techniques which will help you in the real-time scenarios to take a decision when you are eager enough to fight, when you are having such willpower, when you have the guts to fight, right? So I pray that the techniques that I'll be compiling later on in the upcoming videos will make sure that you take a quality decision whenever it is needed in terms of your defensive nature, right? So thank you. See you everyone. Peace.